Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button and hit the bell icon and set your notifications to all, that way you never miss a future upload. Another day, another drama channel drama, and today we're going to be going over all of the tweets that happened between Nick Snider, Dustin, Dailey, Margo, Indigo, and Perez Hilton. But before we get into that, if you haven't seen my previous video titled Gabi demartino is disgusting and in big trouble for this, I will link that in a card up over here as well as down in the description box down below, so definitely make sure you go and check that out as well. Alright, let's go ahead and get on into it. Now, I also have done a recap video of all of this Twitter drama that happened. I will also link that down in the description. It's a brief overview of everything, whereas this video is going to be going through all of the tweets that I didn't put in that other video, as well as the tweets that were in there. So if you just want a brief overview, definitely make sure you go and check that out. But these are all the tweets that I was able to gather. I tried to make sure that I put them in as good of order as I could. I didn't want to go just 100% in time order because then there were tweets that were bouncing back and forth, so it didn't make any sense. So I tried to put orders together as best as I could in a reply manner as well as in time manner as well. And I don't have every single tweet. I tried to make sure I grabbed every tweet as soon as I could, but Perez Hilton decided that he wanted to go on a tweet delete spree, so I wasn't able to get any of the tweets that he deleted. So these are all of the tweets that I was able to gather before tweets started to get deleted. So let's go ahead and get on into it. So just go ahead and sit back and relax, and I'm going to read all of these tweets out for you. Nick Snider tweets, "Leave the children alone at the Perez Hilton. You're very old and going after TikTok teens is creepy." Perez responds with some weird video of him turning around and dancing or whatever, basically just saying, well, if you're replying and reading everything that I say, then you're a fan. Margo Indigo jumps in with a quote tweet from 4/20/20 saying, "Hey, at the Perez Hilton, you want to explain why you told a 16-year-old on TikTok that her post, quote, get you, weirdo?" And then shared the following screenshots. In this first screenshot, you can see from this person's TikTok, it says, "When Perez Hilton comments that my videos are making him." In the second screenshot, you can see that Perez Hilton liked the video, and Perez Hilton commented, "All of these videos are getting me." And in the final screenshot, you can see that she puts on the screen saying, "I'm 16. Perez responds by saying, "My bussy on fire." Nick Snider then quote tweets that and says, "That's the clap." Margo replies by saying, "A father who has a long history of minors, you need serious help." Perez then replies to Margo and says, "You're right, I do." Another person replies to Perez and says, "WTF dude, that's not something to even joke about. You answering like that, what's going on with you?" Perez responds to this person by saying, hashtag Perez Hilton is over party. Margo then tweets, "If the father of my kid was on here, minors, many being girls, openly doing it after being called out and making jokes about it, I'll call the cops myself and you aren't seeing our kid anymore. And dude has 2 daughters he has access to. That's seriously concerning." Perez then responds to Margo saying, "Also, do you want to chat for a YouTube video for your channel? I'm happy to." Margo then quote tweets that and says, "Nah, you, me, and a few others very concerned can stream live to everyone and present the evidence of you being a..." Perez replies to Margo and says, "Now, I'm available to go live with you on Instagram. Then you can save the video and upload it on your YouTube." Margo replies to Perez and says, "Nope, we'll go live on YouTube, much bigger platform. Tomorrow work? I have a kid that I'm not a danger to getting ready for bed." Perez replied by saying, "You can share the screen with someone on YouTube? I did not know that. And I'm not committing to tomorrow. That's Thanksgiving. Why not now?" Margo replied by saying, "Thanksgiving is a lie. Did you not read the part of my son getting ready for bed? The one I'm not a danger to? If you can commit to, on children, surely a live stream couldn't bother you." Perez responded by saying, "I am committing. Put your son to bed and then let's do it right after. Why are you afraid of going live tonight? Doesn't need to be immediately. I will be up for at least 4 more hours or so. The ball is in your court." Margo replies by saying, "Not a telling another parent how to parent. You can make time to tell minors that they make you, but not to be held accountable not on your time. You're not slithering out of this, weirdo." Perez responded by saying, "I'm not. I'm literally giving you a window of 4 hours to make this happen. It takes you 4 hours to put your son to sleep? Sounds like you're too scared to go live with me. Oh well. It's your shot, take it or not." Margo then replied by saying, "LMAO, I knew you'd try to get out of it. Always run. Colonizer Day is much more important than being held accountable for preying on children to you, huh?" Perez responds by saying, "Are you high? I'm repeatedly telling you I'm available and happy to chat with you live on your YouTube within the next 4 hours. You initially said you couldn't now because you were putting your son to sleep. Let's go live after he's sleeping. Or not, your choice." Margo then replies by saying, no one goes on terms. Tomorrow or you're another sick with access to minors who ran. Onision 2.0. Perez responds by saying, if you change your mind, I'll be around for the next 3 hours and 34 minutes, maybe even more. Margo replies by saying, I'll be around tomorrow if you change your mind about running away like the weirdo you are. Perez responds by saying, I'm not around tomorrow, as I have stated, but I'm available within the next 3.5 hours. Margo replies by saying, so we all have to stop parenting, getting our kids ready for bed / homework / etc. Some aren't even at home tonight, and bow to a sicko schedule, but you can't do that? That's not how this works, Mini Onision. You can make time to be a... Though interesting how that goes, isn't it? Perez responds by saying, you're right, you win. The next day, Perez then tweets out, at Margo Indigo, let's do this. What time are you free today to go live, as you said you would? Someone replied to Perez and said, why are you targeting at Margo Indigo when it's been made clear the live will happen when at It's Nick Snider and at 3 Dailey are available? Perez responds to this person and says, I'm not targeting her. She said she wanted to go live with me on Thanksgiving. I didn't think I would be able to today and only wanted to go live yesterday. She refused. Now I'm available and waiting for her to confirm a time. This is something she said she wanted. Perez then quote tweets his original tweet and then tweets, at Margo Indigo, at Keemstar, at It's Nick Snider, I'm still available today. Waiting on your response, Margo. Just say when. I'll make it happen. Now I'm not sure why he tagged Keemstar, but okay. Nick Snider then quote tweets Perez's tweet and says, it's Thanksgiving, go spend time with your family, you relic. Margo replies by saying, LMAO, there's a whole panel now. Perez then replies by saying, so you're not gonna follow through? You said you'd go live with me today. I'm offering you my time. Perez also then replies to Nick Snider and says, isn't it time to lower the price of your OnlyFans, sweetie? Your and are not worth $5 a month, and then link Nick's OnlyFans account. Nick then quote tweets that tweet and says, throwing hate towards someone in the adult industry? I'd expect that from you considering no one would pay to you with someone else's, let alone want to see you. Go tuck your deflated fupa into your trousers. Someone replied to Nick and said, well, I think are worth more than $5, even though I've never seen them. Perez then responds to this person and says, they're not. I support OF creators who make great content. He doesn't. You can see a preview of his lame material here, and then adds a link to Nick's OnlyFans Twitter. Another user replied and said, all I got out of this is that he subscribed to your OnlyFans. Perez then replied to this person and said, no need. I saw the previews and knew he was overcharging. See for yourself here, and again it links Nick's OnlyFans Twitter. Dustin Dailey then quote tweets Perez and says, not Perez calling someone lame. Go back to TikTok dancing in your cheetah print PJs. Nick Snider also quote tweets Perez and says, sir, you've had to resort to making tea videos about TikTok teenagers. Let's not go down the road of lame material. Another user replied to Perez saying, funny you say this after asking your fans to hound him to go out / hook up with you. Perez replied to this person and said, huh? That's not true. Did he say that happened? Love the rumor though. I love being talked about. How sad he stooped so low to start that. This user then replied to Perez and said, oops, you're right. He's too old for your taste. Nick Snider then quote tweeted Perez's tweet and said, well, now I've just thrown up my Thanksgiving dinner. Ew, even the thought of that. Another user replies to Perez and says, hi Perez, as someone who works in the adult industry and adores it, and as someone who is a fan of yours during your peak, please do better. And please stop insulting valid members of my community. I would love to follow your post if it wasn't for awful like this. Perez then replies to this person and says, don't follow. Another person replies to Perez and says, I mean you're 100% targeting her. You're in every comment asking when she's available. It's targeting. I can send you a legal dictionary if you like. I have a spare. Margo replied to this person and said, all of a sudden he can't read the tweets he responded to saying they aren't taking time out of today for a weirdo, when there's multiple people involved in this, but he can read fine when it's minors. LMAO. Another person tweeted, not at Perez Hilton trying to come for at Nick Snider because he's got the ability to successfully work in the adult industry. Oh girl, I'd never. Perez then responds to Margo and says, why do you need multiple people? Don't you have issue with me? Stand alone in airing your grievances, or are you afraid to do it by yourself? Margo then replies to Perez and says, oh honey, you don't get to target minors and not have a city of people coming for you. Or can you not handle adults holding you accountable? Too old for you? Perez then responds to Margo and says, fine, whatever, I won't hold my breath, you junkie. Dustin Dailey then quote tweets Perez and said, LMAO, dude, I know you didn't just call someone a junkie. You washed up has-been rewind gossip blogger. Bro, you look like your face caught on fire and was put out with a fork. Nick Snider also quote tweeted Perez Hilton and said, now we're calling people junkies. Hey Perez, I heard you're a burner Tina Turner. Dustin Dailey then tweets, seen at Perez Hilton calling people junkies and shaming OnlyFans creators. Get you some business, baby, and get where you ain't. Nick Snider then tweets, I'm surprised at the Perez Hilton is able to respond. I didn't think they had cell phone service at rock bottom. Another person replied to Perez and said, you're disgusting. I don't know why I tried to hold on to you for so long. Just because you're the oldest gossiper doesn't mean anything. Perez responds to this person by saying, I'm fine with my actions, and that Junkie is clearly also fine with falsely and repeatedly since April calling me a groomer. Neither are true, but she is a junkie. I hope she hasn't relapsed this week. Sincerely. Nick Snider quote tweets that and says, aw, this clown is looking for some airtime. I can't imagine being as miserable as he is. It's sad. It's even more sad watching a middle-aged man grasp for relevancy. You should have been retired by now. Margo Indigo replied to Perez and said, and I'll say it again. And children. They also engage in CP, all of which you've done. It's what you are, sweetie. You shouldn't have preyed on minors if you don't like how it sounds, and then shared the following screenshots. And in this first screenshot, it is a dictionary definition of a P word that ends in tor, and you can see that Margo has circled a person or a group that ruthlessly exploits others, a website frequented by, and then a screenshot of an article that reads, on June 13th, 2010, Hilton posted a Twitter message linking to an upskirt picture of Miley Cyrus, which allegedly showed the singer without underpants. Since Cyrus was still underage at the time, questions were raised as whether or not CP charges could be raised. The site that he had linked to had removed the picture in question. Perez responded to the accusations by claiming that the controversy was, quote, fake, and that Cyrus did wear underwear in the photo in question. Hilton did not repost the photo for proof. Instead, he linked to another image of Cyrus, supposedly taken on the same occasion, to prove that she had been wearing underwear. Perez responded to this by saying, Cyrus was wearing underwear, you lying junkie. She was also 17 at the time. Keep it up and a lawsuit is coming. Nick Snider quote tweeted that and said, not this troll threatening a lawsuit. Margo responded to Perez and said, bring it on. We know the law. And you posted a different photo of Miley after your submission to a website literally called Upskirt was pulled for CP. And you just admitted you did save and post a photo of a minor and sent it to Upskirt. You are sick, my dude. Margo then replies to Nick Snider and says, you'll probably have to wire him money for it. Perez then responds to Margo and says, I make more money in one day on Cameo than Nick does all month on OnlyFans. Here's my activity in just the past 4 hours alone. Nick then quote tweets Perez and says, sir, no one cares how much money you make. You make enough though. Go fix that mug, or does the look older than they are gene just run in your family? Perez then replies to Margo and says, notice how you're avoiding my offer to go live with you and your friends? Is that offer you extended still on the table? Whenever you want, you lying junkie. Dustin Dailey then quote tweets that and says, for someone that looks the way you do, you're real comfortable using the word junkie. Nick Snider then quote tweets Perez and says, so, is 17 not considered a minor anymore? Yikes. Margo then tweets, imagine blaming your own children for a grown man and or them. Someone save these poor babies. They're genuinely in danger. No groomer should have access to children, and then shared the following screenshot. Someone replied to Perez and said, what if grown men were doing this to your daughters? Perez responded by saying, I'd tell them they shouldn't have been engaging with grown men on social media. Another person replied by saying, so you would victim blame your own children? Margo then replies to Perez and says, cameos. I have to laugh. Perez replies to Margo and says, did you look in the mirror again? Nick then quote tweets Perez and says, the shade. I've been ended. Another person replies to Perez and says, dude, really? Shaming? Addiction? It must be awesome being a perfect person. Hashtag people in glass houses. Perez responds to this person by saying, this is more than shaming. It was a punch. I purposefully wanted to hurt this junkie. She has been punching me for months now. Since April, falsely accusing me of being a groomer. Glad I know her Achilles heel. Not sorry, my tweet is still up. And there you have it. Those were all the tweets that I was able to gather, put together in as best order as I could to try to make it make sense, as well as keep it in a correct timeline. But I'd love to know what you think about everything down in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. Also, if you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button and hit the bell icon and set your notifications to all. That way you never miss a future upload. Alright, that's everything for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!